Tonight, a live look at the Mario Cuomo Bridge, the tri-state getting hit with below freezing temperatures. Just how low they go. Liv Johnson in for Nick tonight. Technically, this is the last weekend of fall. It's hard to keep track.
I know, but we've already kind of sped up, so at least we're getting used to it beforehand, I guess. And speaking of below freezing, that's where we are right now. Currently 29 degrees in New York, even chillier out east on Long Island, where it's 26. And then you look up in the Hudson Valley, just 19 degrees. Meanwhile, 26 degrees down the shore in New Jersey. We're only a little bit cooler than we were this time yesterday, but we're way cooler than we were 2 days ago when we saw a high of 60 degrees. Now that feels like forever ago. Then we have to factor in that wind chill, so it actually feels like 20 in the city, and most of the surrounding areas around New York City feel like the teens. Islip 19, White Plains 17, and we're not getting anything for Hartford or Poughkeepsie, but I know it feels even cooler there. Winds have calmed down a good bit over the last couple of days, so that is the good news. But you can see those winds are still coming from the north. That northerly wind is bringing us cooler air, just 10 miles an hour right now, though, for New York City. We don't have any wind gusts, so again, that's the good news. We've been dealing with really strong winds the past couple of days, but now we're looking pretty good. It'll be a little breezy overnight, but nothing too bad. We did enjoy clear skies as well. Lots of sunshine today. That's also continuing tomorrow, so we'll have more sunshine. Another chilly day. We warm up a little bit by the start of next week, back up into the 50s, but also we're going to have some rain on Monday and Tuesday, Steve.
Very well. All right, thanks, Liv. Well, another day of questions without answers about drone sightings across the tri-state, and new tonight, Mayor Adams posting on X that he's aware of concerns, and the city's actively investigating the matter and working with federal, state, and local agencies. Fox 5's Teresa Priola live across the Hudson in Belleville, New Jersey, with more on the growing calls for greater transparency.
Another night, another New Jersey municipality questioning the commotion in the skies. This time, it's the Essex County town of Belleville. The mayor of Belleville, Michael Melham, took this video.
I never saw anything like it. Dozens and dozens of drones coming in from all different areas. We were swarmed last night with drones circulating and hovering just hundreds of feet above our houses.
The Belleville sightings come nearly a month after New Jerseyans began questioning what all these unidentified flying objects could be. It has prompted an emergency meeting of some 200 mayors and Homeland Security.
Call them drones, call them aircraft, call them whatever you want. There's something flying above our homes here in Belleville and statewide, and our residents are concerned.
The mayor's concerns are echoed by Governor Phil Murphy, who sent a letter to President Biden begging for help, and by Senator Andy Kim, who co-signed a letter to the FAA, the FBI, and Homeland Security. He's been so frustrated with the lack of federal action that he went out to Hunterdon County to experience it for himself.
Why it is that they're not being forthcoming with this information is confusing to me and very frustrating.
And while New Jersey appears to be the epicenter of this crazy situation, we aren't alone. Staten Islanders are worried too.
What if there were 3,000 reports of drones or manned aircraft sightings over the U.S. Capitol or the White House or State House in Albany? What would happen? There would be an immediate and intense response.
And New Jersey Congressman Josh Gottheimer says next week he is expecting a classified briefing on these drones. Hopefully that yields some answers. In Belleville, New Jersey, Teresa Priola, Fox 5 News.
Police arrested 42-year-old Ahmet. Leaders in Canada reacting to President-elect Trump's threat to impose tariffs if they don't do more to prevent drugs and migrants from crossing the border. Officials in Ontario say if Trump starts a trade war, they'll respond by banning some U.S. imports like alcohol and restricting electricity exports to New York, Michigan, and Minnesota. Ontario powers 1.5 million homes in the U.S. as of last year.
You come and attack Ontario, you attack livelihoods of people of Ontario. We're going to use every tool in our toolbox to defend Ontarians and Canadians across the border.
Officials in the oil-rich province of Alberta striking a different tone, saying under no circumstances will they agree to cut off oil and gas exports. Instead, they're focusing on cutting a deal with Trump to invest more money in securing the northern border. Minimum wage workers in New Jersey getting a raise starting January 1st. The Garden State's minimum wage for most employees will rise to $15.49 an hour. That's up 36 cents. The minimum cash wage for tipped workers will also go up 36 cents to $5.62 an hour. Office holiday parties making a comeback since the end of the pandemic, but what should you know if you decide to go? We're going to break down the do's and don'ts. And for the first time in a long time, obesity rates are going down in the U.S. We'll take a look at what is likely behind the drop. But first, streaming right now on Fox Local, a new Fox 5 doc digging deep into the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Here's a quick look at Mangione manhunt from Midtown to Altoona.
These are the final moments of United Health CEO Brian Thompson's life.
It appears the suspect was lying in wait for several minutes.
I hear the 3 shots.
The words deny, depose, and defend were written on shell casings left behind at the scene of the shooting.
New images released show the person of interest.
A massive manhunt is underway.
The net is tightening, and we're going to bring this person to justice.
He is no hero.
He made a comment, but that looks like the shooter from New York.
This is our first look at who officials believe was the gunman.
Mangione wrote, frankly, these parasites simply had it coming.
Mangione Manhunt, streaming now on Fox Local. Search Fox Local on your preferred streaming platform or scan the QR code to watch on your phone. The news on Fox 5 brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
She's just...
You're watching the 10 o'clock news.
For the first time in over a decade, obesity rates have dropped in the U.S. It's a modest reduction, but as Fox 5's Duarte Geraldino reports, it is giving medical professionals hope that the trend is finally heading in the right direction.
For years, America's just kept getting bigger. The CDC says more than 100 million adults, over 40% of the U.S. population, are obese.
We know that obesity is a chronic medical condition. It is classified as a disease.
Now, for the first time in years, there may be a glimmer of hope. A new study in the JAMA Health Forum shows a slight drop in obesity rates from 46% in 2022 to 45.6% in 2023.
That's nice to see. But there's a lot more work to do when we're still talking about over 40% of the population is obese, when we want to get it at 30-35%.
Dr. John White is Chief Medical Officer at WebMD and says it's still too early to call this a trend.
And I wanted to be seeing dropping not tenths of points, but a whole point, 2 points. That's when we can start to celebrate success.
This study analyzed the body mass index, or BMI, of 16.7 million adults over a decade. BMI rose every year until 2022, when it plateaued at 30.24, a number classified as obese. In 2023, the average BMI dipped slightly to 30.21. Researchers credit new weight loss drugs as a big reason for this change.
Semaglutide is the active ingredient, is the drug that is found in the name brand medications Ozempic and Wegovy.
The study shows women and older adults aged 66 to 75 saw the largest drops in obesity rates.
I don't think we've seen the impact that these medications are having, and it's a significant impact. 6% of the population is currently on it. That's going to increase as prices go down, as there is more coverage.
This slight dip in obesity rates may seem small, but it could signal the start of a new trend. Duarte Geraldino, Fox 5 News.
Caught on camera, this wild crash in Kalamazoo, Michigan, a box truck losing control on the icy road right about here and slamming into a fire truck. That's so scary. After the crash, you can see the first responders scrambling for safety off into the snow. The only person hurt was the driver. He was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Wow.